Senator Bernie Sanders, it's our Brunch with Bernie hour. It's Senator Bernie Sanders on the line with us and in his office in Burlington. Hey, Senator, welcome.
Good to be with you, Tom.
Great to have you with us, and thank you again for participating in these national town hall meetings that we have, Brunch with Bernie. Senator, what's on your mind today?
Well, I think what's on my mind is the same thing that's on the mind of tens of millions of Americans, and that is who is going to be the next president of the United States, who is going to control the United States Senate, what's going to happen to the future of this country. You know, Tom, in the midst of this whole campaign, what drives me a little bit nuts is the incredible superficiality of the media in terms of looking at political campaigns just like they were football games or baseball games or basketball games. And the whole issue is, you know, what does Romney need to do to win in Florida, and what does Obama need to do to win in Ohio, and on and on and on, rather than asking questions like, what kind of policies do we need so that the middle class in America can see an improved standard of living and not a continued collapse? What should we be doing in America to provide health care to all of our people in an affordable way? What should we be doing to end this disastrous trade policy, which is causing us the loss of millions and millions of decent paying jobs? So instead of looking at policy and contrasting what Obama has to say with what Romney has to say, it becomes very much a sporting event, an American Idol event, who perspired and who didn't during the debate, who looked presidential, rather than saying, hey, what the hell do we need to do in order to move this country out of this terrible, terrible recession, which is killing the middle class? And I think when you look at it, this is what the conclusion you reach. I think that it is clear that anyone who remembers what was going on in this country 4 years ago understands that not only were we losing 700,000 jobs a month, that is just an unbelievable number. Not only were people losing their homes and their life savings because of the collapse of the stock market, but we were on the verge not just of an American financial collapse, but of an international financial collapse, which very likely would have driven us into a world depression equivalent to or worse than what we had in the 1930s. And while today we are certainly nowhere near where we want to be, we have made some progress and brought some stability. And I think people have got to understand that. The second thing, I think, that has to be said, and I say that is the longest-serving independent in the history of the United States Congress, is has Obama done all that he should have done in terms of job creation, in terms of standing up to Republican obstructionism, in terms of taking on Wall Street? And the answer is no. So I think what you got is a whole lot of people out there who are saying, well, you know, I understand that Obama inherited a horrendous situation. On the other hand, you know, I don't think he's done all that he should have done for working families. And I'm kind of thinking maybe I'll vote for Romney. But then you got to look at what Romney is talking about. And when you analyze what Romney is talking about, he doesn't have a 5-point plan to create 12 million jobs. He doesn't have an 80-point plan. It's all bogus. It's all fraud. No serious economist or policy group agrees with his analysis that he can create 12 million jobs. Essentially, what Romney wants to do, and people have got to understand that, is he wants to go back to the Bush economic policies of trickle-down economics. More tax breaks for the wealthiest people in this country at a time when the rich are doing phenomenally well. More unfettered free trade at a time in which we have lost millions of good-paying jobs because corporations have outsourced American jobs to China and other low-wage countries. More deregulation. Now, how anybody in their right mind could be talking about more deregulation of Wall Street when it was the recklessness and the greed and illegal behavior on Wall Street that caused this recession because of deregulation is beyond my imagination. So I think the dynamic of this campaign is that most people understand that Obama inherited an economic disaster. I think there is significant dissatisfaction that Obama has not been as strong as he should have been, and therefore some people are looking at Romney as an alternative. But it ain't no alternative. It will only take us back to the exact same policies that got us to where we are today. So I think what we've got to do is work as hard as we can to reelect the president, to make sure the Democrats retain control over the Senate, get as many House seats as possible. But the day after the election, we have got to let this president know that he has got to stand up vigorously for working families. He has got to make it clear we are not going to balance the budget, for example, in a lame duck session or in the beginning part of the new session on the backs of the elderly, the children, the sick, and the poor. We are not going to cut Social Security when Social Security has nothing to do with deficit reduction. Social Security has a significant surplus. There are ways to do deficit reduction that are fair. That means you ask the wealthiest people in this country who are doing phenomenally well, whose effective tax rates are very, very low, to start paying their fair share. We're going to end the absurdity of 1/4 of American corporations who are profitable not paying a nickel in taxes. We're going to deal with this disgrace of tax havens in the Cayman Islands, Bermuda, and elsewhere, where these corporations and wealthy people stash their money to avoid paying their fair share of taxes. And we're going to deal with Wall Street finally and say to these guys, sorry, you can't continue doing business the way you have done, which is run the world's largest gambling casino, rather than investing in the productive economy, those companies that need capital in order to grow and create jobs. So there's a lot to be done. But the answer is not to go back to the Bush economic approach and elect Romney. We've got to support the president and then put as much pressure on him as possible to stand with working families.
There's another piece to this too, isn't there, Senator? Chevron, for example. This just the news release just came. This is on Center for American Progress's Think Progress blog. Chevron, the second largest oil company in the U.S., eighth largest in the world, just contributed $2.8 million. Actually, it was in October, to the Congressional Leadership Fund. It was just reported, which a super PAC to elect House Republicans. This is the single largest donation from a corporation to any super PAC, period, that they've been able to find. And and House Republicans voted 109 times to enrich the oil companies.
Of course. I mean, and you got the Koch brothers who have made their $50 billion in fossil fuels, oil and coal, putting huge amounts of money into this. No, you can't turn on cable TV, Tom, without seeing an ad coming from the energy companies. So it shouldn't be a surprise to anybody that the energy companies are going to support Republicans and Romney. They are going to do everything that they can to make sure that we don't make the necessary transformation of our energy system away from fossil fuel into energy efficiency and sustainable energies like wind, solar, geothermal, and biomass. And the truth of the matter is we can create huge numbers of jobs if we moved in that direction.
Amen. Senator Bernie Sanders on the line with us. It's our national town hall meeting with Senator Sanders for Brunch with Bernie here on the Thom Hartmann Program. You can check out Senator Sanders' website, sanders.senate.gov. Ours is thomhartmann.com. And we will be back with your calls for Senator Sanders for the rest of the hour, right after this.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
Our national town hall meeting, Brunch with Bernie. Senator Bernie Sanders taking your calls, live and unfiltered, right after this. And welcome back. Thom Hartmann here with you. Reginald, watching Free Speech TV in Houston, Texas. You are on the air with Senator Sanders.
Hello, how you doing?
Good.
Hello?
Yeah.
How you doing?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Senator Sanders. I just want to give you guys a shout-out and appreciate the work you're doing. But the cost, I talked to you a little while back about the cost of living adjustment, and I thought that was real deplorable, the adjustment that they gave out of 1.7 increase for the widows and the children in the office on Social Security. And I'm having a hard time discerning between Romney and Obama on this kill list, on these drones and all this killing. I want to be able to vote for one or the other, and presumably Obama. But when all this killing that's going on with these drones and the rhetoric between the two of them on the debate, it makes me feel like if I vote for either one, I have blood on my hands. Can you help me, Senator Sanders, on why I should vote for one? I understand your reasoning, but it feels like I'm adding to the fuel to the fire by putting my vote out there. Maybe if I had a third party like yourself or Ms. Steins or somebody else, an alternative, I would feel good about my vote.
Well, Reginald, thank you. That's a very thoughtful question. I am an independent. I'm not a Democrat or Republican, so I can't condemn people or disagree with people who want to look toward alternatives from the Democrats and the Republicans. I think, however, at this particular moment, at the national level, Reginald, when we're talking about who's going to become president, everybody understands it will be Mr. President Obama or Mr. Romney. And I share the disappointment that many people feel in a number of policies that the president has initiated. But I think, Reginald, in the real world that we're in right now, let me tell you, wherever you think Obama has been weak, in my view, Romney is going to be a heck of a lot weaker. I know in the last presidential debate, when they talked about foreign policy, Romney's position was, me too. I agree with the president. I agree with the president. Trust me, behind Romney, there are a lot of right-wing Republicans, these neocons, who got us into the war in Iraq, who are very close to the military-industrial complex. The president, to his credit, has got us out of Iraq. He kept his word. We are going to be out of Afghanistan in 2014. So, Reginald, all that I would say is, yes, you have a right to be concerned that Obama has not done the things that many of us, all of the things that many of us would like him to have done. But I will tell you without the shadow of a doubt that in every area, Romney will be significantly worse. And it's not just Romney. He is part of a party which has moved very, very far to the right, not only on military issues, but on economic issues, social issues. This is a party who's at their convention in Tampa, Florida, a couple of months ago, passed a plank calling for a constitutional amendment to ban abortion in America in all instances, even if a woman was raped or a victim of incest. So you got a right-wing party out there, which I think we do not want to see control the presidency.
And Senator Bernie Sanders, I think of him as America's senator, although having lived in Vermont, I know the Vermonters are very proud that he's their senator. Our Brunch with Bernie Hour, our national town hall meeting, taking your calls. Alan in Phoenix, Arizona, you are on the air with Senator Sanders. Thanks for listening to AM 1480.
Yes, Senator Sanders, I was very disturbed watching the Frontline program this week called Climate of Doubt, where they showed how big money has turned scientific research into fiction. And I think every American should be asking themselves the question, what are we if the truth has become our enemy? And that's all I have to say.
Well, Alan, thank you very much. I did not see the program. My wife saw it, and she told me about it. Look, here is the most important fact I think the American people have to understand about the current political process, and I say that as a United States senator who spends a lot of time in Washington. Money dominates the political process in America today, and the more money you have, the more you dominate it. In terms of global warming, we have a situation, and I speak as a member of the Environmental Committee, where 98% of the scientists who have written about climate change believe that global warming is real. It is significantly caused by human activity. It is already wreaking havoc on our planet in terms of droughts, floods, severe weather disturbances, and it will only get worse if we do not address it. And yet you have people in the oil companies, in the fossil fuel industry, spending huge sums of money trying to confuse the American people, trying to suggest that this is not a settled issue, that the scientific community is still in doubt about it. They are not in doubt about it. It is real. And the pity of this whole damn thing is that we know how we can reverse global warming, and in the process of reversing global warming, America could become a leader and create millions of jobs in that process. We are wasting an enormous amount of money. If we move aggressively toward energy efficiency, we can cut greenhouse gas emissions and save people money on their fuel bills. I've seen this all over the state of Vermont. We're doing well. We have to do a lot better, and the country has to do much, much better. Obama did a good job in demanding and successfully bringing about an increase in what we call CAFE standards, where by the year 2025, automobiles in this country are going to get on average about 55 miles per gallon, save people a huge amount of money on their gas bills, and cut greenhouse gas emissions. We've got to invest in rail. We have to invest in wind, solar, geothermal, biomass. When you do those things, you can cut carbon emissions significantly. You can create millions of jobs. You can make America a leader on what is a planetary problem. It's certainly not only an American issue. We've got to get China off of coal. We've got to work with them. So, Alan, nothing surprises me in Washington. And, of course, the fossil fuel industry is spending huge amounts of money to confuse the American people.
Elliot in Mission Viejo, California. Elliot, you're on the air with Senator Sanders.
Yes. I work with the League of Women Voters. Crucial question, Senator Sanders. Will overturning Citizens United and then getting money out of politics also have the effect of ending the lies and misinformation ads that influence voters' positions on ballot measures?
Yes. The answer is yes. I think, and again, I have introduced, along with others, an amendment to overturn Citizens United, a constitutional amendment, and I do that with a great deal of caution because I'm not one of those guys that thinks you amend the Constitution every day. But I think you have a situation, a disastrous situation with Citizens United, which does two things. Number one, it allows billionaires, and we have documented at least 23 billionaire families, and I'm sure there are a lot more, who are pouring huge amounts of money into this campaign to elect candidates who are going to protect their interests and not the interests of the average American. But the other thing, Elliot, that this does is it intimidates members of the House and Senate and all public officials all over the country. Because if you are prepared to stand up and vote against Wall Street, against the energy companies, you may think twice about that if you know that that vote will unleash a tsunami of radio and television ads against you. So, Elliot, what Citizens United is about is not only money coming into the presidential election, money coming into the Senate and House races, it's money coming into the local communities as well, it's money coming into ballot items as well. We have got to overturn Citizens United, but beyond that, in my view, we have got to go forward with public funding of elections. Otherwise, you're going to continue to see big money play much too great a role in the political process.
Jeff in Colorado Springs, Colorado. You're on the air with Senator Sanders.
Hello, Bernie.
Hi, Jeff.
I would like you to know that we are lucky to have you, such a man as you, amongst us. And my question is, would it be economically feasible to eliminate the corporate income tax entirely and designate all income as earned income, including dividend distributions, capital gains, deferred interest, and all the other things?
Well, what I think, Jeff, is that you certainly do not have a lower tax rate for dividend incomes or capital gains income. The idea that somebody who is a waiter or a waitress, somebody who is a carpenter, somebody who's a cop or a fireman, having to pay a significantly higher rate on their earned income than somebody who is clipping coupons seems to me to be absolutely wrong. And that's the direction that I would go. Overall, we need to make our tax system simpler. We need to get rid of all of the loopholes that exist, and we need to make it progressive. And that means the more you earn, the higher rates you pay.
There you go. Senator Bernie Sanders with us. It's our Brunch with Bernie National Town Hall meeting here on the Thom Hartmann Program. 27 minutes past the hour. We'll be back with more of your calls for Senator Sanders in just a few moments. Check out Bernie's website at sanders.senate.gov. You can drop into our website at thomhartmann.com. Say hi in our live chat room. It's free. We just updated our iPhone and iPad app, by the way, in the App Store.
You're listening to the Thom Hartmann Program. Call 866-987-THOM.
If you're looking for our app, which has our daily blog and all kinds of cool stuff on it, it's totally free. You can check it out at the App Store, or you can find it at thomhartmann.com. Brunch with Bernie. Senator Bernie Sanders on, taking your calls. And let's see here. Joyce in Clinton, Iowa. Joyce, you're on the air with Senator Sanders.
Hi. Gentlemen, thank you for getting me very well educated on what things that are going on. I've already voted. Our neighborhood has what we call our talk of the month. We all get together and talk about politics, and I've converted a few.
Good.
Good for you, Joyce.
But I have a question now. I've just now turned 65 in September, and as I told my son, I'm Medicare approved. What happens to me if Romney gets in?
Well, two things. Joyce, let me first say I applaud you and your neighbors for getting together to talk about politics and talk about the issues facing your community and the American people. We need to do that all over the country. So thank you for doing that. Here's the story with regard to Medicare. The Republicans in the House, through the so-called Ryan budget, Paul Ryan, the vice presidential candidate, passed a budget which ends Medicare as we know it over a 10-year period. So in fairness to them, this would not happen to you immediately, but it would happen to people who were 55 years of age or younger. You would still be in the Medicare that we know. For the younger people, what would happen is Medicare would be transformed into a voucher program. And that means that people would be given, we believe, about an $8,000 check. And with that $8,000 check, they would then go out to private insurance companies to get the best deal that they could. Now, the problem, that would be great if, when you get to be 65 or 70, you're in really good health. That's fine. But for many people who are 65 or 70, they're dealing with some serious health issues. For example, if somebody the age of 70 ends up being diagnosed with cancer and needs to have tens and tens of thousands of dollars in treatment, and they take this $8,000 voucher and they walk into a private insurance company, what do you think that insurance company is going to tell them? The insurance company will say, hey, we're in the business of making money, not losing money. Why would we want to give you a policy which will cost us $50,000 when you're only giving us $8,000? That's a loser. We don't want it. Have a nice day. So that is what these guys have in mind. And the end result would be that for older people, they would be stuck with a much larger health care out-of-pocket cost than is currently the case because of that voucher system. So bottom line is, if they get in, and by the way, if they do get in, I and others will do everything we can to stop that transformation of Medicare. But if it happened, it would apply to people 10 years down the line, not immediately.
Jonathan in Princeton, New Jersey. You are on the air with Senator Sanders.
Hi. How you doing, sir? My question was kind of... Hello?
Yeah, you're on the air.
Hi. My question is kind of general. I'm actually not this is the first election that I've actually gotten really involved, I guess. It's just listening to both parties and just hearing what's coming out of the Republican party. It's shocking. And I'm just wondering why people, I guess, are not even paying attention to some of the things. This morning I looked at the map with all the states and the blues and the reds, and I looked at Massachusetts and I noticed it was blue. And I was thinking to myself, why with all the things that Romney's saying he's done so well in Massachusetts with women pay equality.
His binders full of women?
Sorry?
With his binders full of women?
Yes, his binders full of women comment, yes. And his health care, how he's done so great with education, all these other things. If he's done such a great job in Massachusetts, why is that state not the reddest state on the map? And that just doesn't make sense to me.
Well, Jonathan, I think that is an excellent point. Romney was the governor of Massachusetts for 4 years, and I guess the people in that state know him pretty well. And the latest polls that I have seen in terms of Massachusetts is that Obama is ahead by 15, 20 points in that state. It appears, we never know what's going to happen, but at this point at least, it appears that Obama will defeat Romney by a landslide in Romney's own state where he was governor. And I think probably, I don't want to speak for the people of Massachusetts, but I think that one thing that may be going on is the people see in Romney somebody who really does not have firm convictions about very much, that he is, as a staffer some months ago described, kind of an etch-a-sketch candidate, that he will, when he's running against right-wing Republicans in the primary, he's a right-winger. When he's running in the presidential election, trying to appeal to women, he's suddenly a moderate. Years ago, he, had different views on abortion than he has right now. Years ago, he had different views on this, that, and the other thing than he has right now. And I think the people of Massachusetts may, I don't want to speak for them, have the sense that this is a guy who goes with the wind, who changes his views to accommodate the political moment, and is not somebody they feel very comfortable with. And here's the major irony, that probably some in Massachusetts would say that his major accomplishment was the health care bill that he worked on with the Democrats to pass. And then you have President Obama kind of bringing forth national legislation emulating what Romney did in Massachusetts, and Romney wants to repeal it because his right-wing base wants that to happen. So I think maybe the folks in Massachusetts understand something that not all Americans do, that there's a lot of hypocrisy in Mr. Romney's candidacy.
Greg in Troy, Michigan. You are on the air with Senator Bernie Sanders.
Hi, Senator and Tom. Thanks for taking my call. I heard you talking about moving away from our dependency on fossil fuels. I'm totally in agreement with that. But I also share concerns with a lot of people about our dependency on nuclear power. And using Fukushima as a reference, I think it's just a matter of time if we don't do something before something similar happens here. Just as an example, we have this huge storm coming up the East Coast, and I realize that's probably not going to cause a problem, but something worse could happen. There's always earthquakes, and I would really like to see us move away from nuclear before anything really serious happens, potentially killing millions of people and destroying the environment for centuries. And I just wonder if the senator has an opinion on that, and wouldn't that also, if we started doing that, wouldn't that also spur job creativity?
It sure would, Greg. And I share your concerns. It's not my view that you can shut down all of the nuclear power plants in America today. You can't do that. But I think what we can do is start phasing them out over a period of time and moving this country very aggressively toward energy efficiency and sustainable energy. I think people are not aware that right now in America we are seeing the creation of solar utilities projects through solar energy are going to provide electricity to hundreds of thousands of homes. We're moving aggressively with photovoltaics, and the price of those have gone down very considerably. We're moving in terms of what's called concentrated solar technology, which uses mirrors to run turbines to generate electricity. And we're making progress there as well. So I think, if we really wanted to devote ourselves to what you might want to call a Marshall Plan, whatever you want to call it, to saying that in X number of years, through energy efficiency and movement to solar, wind, geothermal, could we generate the electricity that we need in this country to maintain strong economic growth while moving away from fossil fuel and over a period of years nuclear? I believe that we can. And I think Greg's point that when we do that, we are going to create millions of good-paying jobs, especially if we are producing those products, the solar panels and the wind turbines, and the energy efficiency products of insulation and wind and doors and roofing here in the United States of America. So that is my vision for the transformation of our energy system. The other point that I would make on nuclear is, Greg, it's not only the potential danger of nuclear vis-a-vis Fukushima, it is also the high cost of nuclear power. If you want to know the most expensive way forward to generate electricity now, it is new nuclear. So I think if we invest in energy efficiency, sustainable energies, we can have a safe and bright energy future, and one that allows us to create millions of good-paying jobs.
Susan in Leoma, Tennessee. We have a minute to the break. Susan, a quick question?
Thank you. Although I have heard Romney actually say Trans-Pacific Partnership. I didn't hear Obama say it, but I heard him infer it. How are we going to stop Obama from signing that Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement?
Well, Susan, you've touched on a very, very important point, and it's one of the reasons why there is a disappointment among many people with the president. Certainly, we hear every day from Romney how wonderful unfettered free trade is, and I should think that he knows a lot about it because Bain Capital has been one of those folks, one of those companies that has worked to shut down companies in America and move them to China. So he knows a lot about unfettered free trade and how advantageous it is for him and his friends to shut down plants in America and move abroad. But the president has not been strong on this issue. There's no question in my mind. And some of us are doing what we can to say, wait a minute, we got to rethink our trade policies, including the Trans-Pacific Program.
We'll be back with more of your calls for Senator Bernie Sanders right after this. Stick around.
You're listening to the Thom Hartmann Program. Visit ThomHartmann.com for audio and video archives.
Don't touch that dial. Senator Bernie Sanders back with you in our national town hall meeting, Brunch with Bernie, in just a moment. Welcome back. Noah, watching us on Free Speech TV in Madison, Wisconsin. You are on the air with Senator Bernie Sanders.
Hi, great to be with both of you. Senator Sanders, I have a question. Mitt Romney wants to repeal the Affordable Care Act, he says in his campaign. As we all know, it's a Heritage Foundation idea that for the individual mandate. I was just wondering if you think this is just a campaign gimmick to get his base riled up, or if he's actually planning on repealing something that's a Republican idea. And also, one other thing, I'm on Medicare and Social Security disability, but I'm only 32 years old. What does that mean for me if Mitt Romney gets elected?
Noah, here's the story. Remember, Romney does not live into a world all by himself. He is the leader of the Republican Party, which has become, over the last number of years, in my view, an extreme right-wing party. They have voted in the House time and time again to repeal the Affordable Care Act. So this is not just Romney talking. This is what his friends his supporters, his fellow Republicans in the United States Congress believe. So if your question is, do I believe that they will go forward and try to repeal the Affordable Care Act? I do. No question in my mind that they will do that. Now, when they do that, it means the 30 million Americans who otherwise would be getting health insurance will not. It means that we may lose the provision that now denies insurance companies from preventing folks with pre-existing conditions from keeping their health insurance. That now allows young people under the age of 26 from staying in their parents' program, and for many, many other very important provisions. Now, as I've said many times on this show, I am a Medicare for All single-payer advocate, but I voted for the Affordable Care Act because I think it is a step forward. Not as far as I would like to go, but it is a step forward. Now, if Noah, you mentioned that you were on Medicare and Social Security. Well, I got news for you. I wish I could give you happier news here. But if Romney is elected, and especially if he has support in the Senate, no question in my mind that they will, in one way or another, and it's impossible to predict exactly how, go after Medicare. Eventually, they will want to privatize Medicare or make it into a voucher program for younger people, I suppose. And in terms of Social Security, stay tuned, folks, because the day after the election, there's going to be a lot of discussion in the lame duck session about how we move forward on deficit reduction. And right now, virtually all of the Republicans and all of corporate America who are becoming increasingly involved in this issue want to cut Social Security, want to cut Medicare, want to cut Medicaid, and a lot of other very important programs that the middle class depends upon. Meanwhile, they want to lower the tax rates for the wealthiest people and the largest corporations. Noah, if Romney gets elected, I suspect, no one can predict. There's a good chance that the benefits that you receive will be cut.
We will be back with more with Senator Sanders in our national town hall meeting, Brunch with Bernie, right after this, 49 minutes past the hour.
Wait a minute, I am just about to be brilliant.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
10 minutes before the hour. Welcome back. Thom Hartmann here with you. Just a quick heads up. At some point during the day, one of our callers, Shano, our associate producer here, in his infinite caprice, is going to pick out a caller to win an autographed copy of Cracking the Code, How to Win Hearts, Change Minds, and Restore America's Original Vision by Thom Hartmann. And it's a book on political messaging that I wrote. Jim Hightower wrote the foreword to it. So back to Brunch with Bernie. Senator Bernie Sanders on the line with us, taking your calls. And Mike in Detroit, you're on the air with Senator Sanders.
Hello, Senator Sanders. I appreciate you taking my call and coming on to Tom's program to speak to callers. My question is, did you ask Tom to screen out tough questions? Because that's what his staff does.
Okay. No, he didn't. I'll answer for the senator because he has never asked me to screen out any questions. Gregory in Woodcliff Lake, New Jersey, you are on the air with Senator Sanders.
Thank you, Tom. And Bernie, it's an honor talking to you right now. I just actually got off reading Outsider in the House, great book. And I wanted to ask you, what's your opinion on Mitt Romney's proposal to privatize Amtrak? What would be the effects of that?
Oh, that would be a disaster. Amtrak now, Gregory, as it happens, is doing very, very well. I mean, I think what ends up happening when our friends at the ExxonMobil and the other big oil companies are ripping off the American people to the tune of, $3.90 or $4 for a gallon of gas, people suddenly begin to look at trains. And we have put, through the stimulus package, a significant amount of money into improving our rail service. We had a long, long, long way to go. Europe, Japan, China are now ahead of us in terms of high-speed rail. In Vermont, we've just made some significant improvements to our rail line. But no, I am strongly opposed to the privatization of Amtrak. I think we have to support Amtrak. Amtrak and rail, both for passengers and cargo, by the way, is one way that we can significantly address greenhouse gas emissions, keep trucks off the roads, cars off the road. We have to do a lot better in improving our rail system. And we have to invest in it and create jobs doing that, certainly not privatize it.
Ann in Vancouver, Washington. You're on the air with Senator Sanders.
Hi, did you say Ann?
Yes, you were on the air.
Great. Okay, I just have a quick question. Is there any way we can control the filibuster, either by making them actually filibuster or maybe by limiting the number of filibusters that they can have so we won't get these ridiculous numbers?
And that is a great question, and it's an important question. I was just talking to the Majority Leader, Harry Reid, the other day, and we were talking about this issue. And he mentioned to me that when Lyndon Johnson, I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, when Lyndon Johnson was Majority Leader, I think for 6 years in the 50s.
Yes, it was. He told me that same story in Las Vegas 2 weeks ago.
And what, there was something like, under Lyndon Johnson for 6 years, there was one filibuster.
That's right.
Under Harry Reid in the last 6 years, with the Republicans going nuts on the filibuster, there have been hundreds.
Yeah, it's been over 370, as I recall.
Was that what you said, 370?
I think it was 378 or 387 or somewhere in that neighborhood. Yeah.
So what you got, Ann, is the Republicans have abused the system very clearly. Mitch McConnell a couple of years ago made it very clear what he said publicly. He didn't hide it. Our major priority is to make sure that Barack Obama is a one-term president. And that was not just idle chatter. That was part of an effort to obstruct in a way that is unprecedented in American history, so that virtually every significant piece of legislation requires now 60 votes rather than 50 votes. and to use other parliamentary tactics in order to prevent action from taking place and legislation from being passed. So, and you're right on. It's a wonderful question, and it is something that has to be addressed. And I am working with senators like Tom Udall, with Jeff Merkley in Oregon and others, to make sure that, yes, we have to protect minority rights in the Senate, but we cannot let the Senate, in fact, dominate what goes on. We do believe in majority rule. So I believe we do need strong filibuster reform, and we're looking at different approaches.
Al in Rome, Wisconsin. You're on the air with Senator Sanders. Al?
Yeah, hello.
Hey, you're on the air.
Okay, Senator, what would it take to get every vet plastic cards so they can go where they want?
Well, I don't know that I agree with that, Al. I'm a member of the Veterans Committee. What I think we want to do is to strengthen the VA right now, which provides very good quality health care. And I think we want to expand the number of what we call CBOCs, community-based outreach clinics, so veterans all over the country have access to primary health care in their own communities rather than having to travel long distances to a VA medical center. I think if you simply voucherized it, which is kind of what you're talking about, it would be very, very expensive proposition. On the other hand, I think there may be times when if veterans can't get their health care locally or get the kind of care they need, that would be fine. But in general, my belief is that we have to strengthen the VA, which is a very good system, and B, a very cost-effective system.
Bernie, we have just 1 minute till the end of the hour. Your thoughts on this point in time and where we need to be what we need to be thinking about and doing?
Well, I think everybody is, kind of focused on the election right now. I always find disturbing is that when they do polls and they say, the likely voters as opposed to registered voters. Well, if you just look at registered voters, I think in most of these polls, Obama wins, and sometimes by a good vote. If you look at likely voters, some of the polls have Romney ahead. And what that means is that there are a lot of folks out there who, are inclined to vote for Obama, but are not quite sure they want to make this big, difficult effort to go to the polling booth on Election Day or vote early. Well, you know what? This is called the United States of America. People have fought and died to make sure that it is the people who run this country, not a king or a queen. And I don't think voting is such a difficult task. So I think that people have a patriotic duty, a democratic responsibility on Election Day to go out and vote. And let's make sure that our government starts working for all of the people, not just a handful of people on top.
Bernie, thanks again for bringing your brilliance and your passion to our program every week. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tom. Take care.
It's an honor to have you.